Right, a man who knows all about road traffic accidents because he does the travel on Go Radio in the morning. It is our man. It is Grado.
And
Tell us a bit about the roads.
Also spent 10 years in the fire brigade as well, dealing with road traffic collisions. Remember,
Well,
everybody...
there you go. So, what should people do if they're involved in an accident, Grado?
Remember, if you've been in a road traffic accident and it's not your fault, G4 Claims can make it easy for you. They can provide you with complete accident management support that you require. They're going to recover costs from the at-fault party. Listen to this. They're going to sort you out with a vehicle, a like-for-like vehicle replacement. And they're also going to organise your vehicle to be repaired at one of their approved body shops and returned to your house. Should your vehicle be deemed a write-off, unfortunately, for that, well, they're going to recover their costs, the pre-accident value for your car, and they'll write you a big fat cheque. And best of all, it's not going to cost you a penny because they charge the at-fault insurance. That's what they do. If it's not your fault, don't go through your insurance company. Don't use your no claims bonus. Go to G4 Claims. They don't cold call you. They don't buy data. And once you've processed your claim, your insurance, it's remaining unscathed. And the best thing is Nicole and the team over there, they won't take your case on if they don't think they can help. So, if you've been in a road traffic accident or you know somebody that has, get on to G4 Claims on 01698167172. That's 01698767172. Get them at notfaultclaim.com or you can find them on social media at G4 Claims Limited. G4 Claims, not at fault claims.
Made easy!
Let's start the show. Now let's welcome the podcast, Football Daft. It's a man, he's made 300 appearances, over 300 appearances for Aberdeen after moving there for Celtic. After a brief spell in South Korea, he returned to the Dons where he still plays. It's Niall McGinn.
How you doing,
Welcome,
Niall?
mate.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me.
What's been happening? What's the goss?
All quiet as you can possibly imagine, but we're just quite fortunate that we're still able to train and play, which is good. So I'm more than happy at that.
Is it an offer carry on or is it enjoyable? I've spoke to some players and they obviously they're relieved that they get to play, but they feel it's just not the same. But you've just got to go and wait on it.
Yeah, no, it's, to be honest, it's definitely not the same. Like for me personally, like I just love playing in front of fans. I love going to intimidating atmospheres, grounds, such as obviously Ibrox and Hearts and stuff. I enjoy that, and I think players enjoy that as well. They get an extra sort of maybe 10% in their locker, but it's one of those ones you have to like say you're really enjoying it because we're still able to do it, which we are enjoying, but it's still not the same enjoyment as obviously having fans, etc., and just having your normal life.
I know, and I suppose as well, all eyes are on football players as well, aren't they? Like, it's everywhere, and it feels as if there's a lot of fans out there that are trying to catch football players out with the rules and stuff like that. So that's an added stress.
Ronaldo's been pulled up today apparently.
Is it?
He went on a ski trip.
He went on a skiing trip and he's been investigated by the police in Italy.
Woofed.
Crazy.
Aye.
But it's one of the ones like no fans there, as Grado saying now. I mean, like Aberdeen, the forms were a bit hot and cold. Do you think no fans there has been a hindrance to you, mate? Or do you think, I don't know, what do you think that's part of the kind of inconsistent form now and again Aberdeen have had there the past few weeks?
No, I think that's because I'm not playing.
There you go, Mr. McInnes. There's an exclusive there. If you're listening, we've heard that Niall McGinn not playing is why your form is hot and cold. Hey, I think, I'm not saying that, I'm not blowing smoke up your arse, right? Rangers playing Aberdeen, honestly, you're one of the names I look for and go, you always can cause a bit of bother. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the deal there? How have you been not been in the team as much? Is there any reason?
What have you done?
Aye.
Did you go on a ski trip?
I'm still waiting to find out as well. But no, the thing is, it's as a professional footballer, you just take it on the chin. But it is very frustrating. I think, especially this season. I think since I've been to Aberdeen, I've probably been one of the most consistent players there. With considering like I've scored maybe 84 goals or something for Aberdeen, and I've contributed. I've always tried and set myself targets every year of double figures, especially being sort of a wide player, number 10, and obviously creating assists. And I've always been high with assists over so many years. And you talk about Rangers stuff. It's games that I want to be involved in. I remember like when obviously Rangers came to Batodry and we drew one each in a cup game, and they were buzzing with obviously the replay to go back to Ibrox, and we end up going down there in the cup game and we beat them 2-0. I scored the first goal after a few minutes, and the score at Ibrox was massive for me. It's something I've always dreamed of doing, and like I've always like enjoyed going to like Ibrox, and I've always like, for me, I've been quite lucky over the stint that I've been at Aberdeen. We've always done well at Ibrox. More often than not, we've obviously had a few bad results, but I think I've won there 3 or 4 times, which is not many sort of players and sort of teams can say they've done that, if you know what I mean. So I just have to be patient. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously been other players who've come in and done well, but I still feel I've definitely a lot to give. It's just I'm like any player, young or old. You always need a run of games, and I haven't got that this season, and that's obviously been down to obviously the manager making his decision, and you obviously have your opinions, he has his, but I definitely feel that I should be playing.
Aye. What's McInnes like? Derek McInnes to play? Like, what's he like to play under? What's his training and stuff like?
No, regarding him as a manager, I think he's definitely up there with sort of one of the best managers regarding of his just his sort of his research and his build up to every team. He treats every team the same. His detail that he goes into regarding opposition is second to none. And now we'll work hard in the training ground on do a lot of 11v11 stuff. We do a lot of shape and different things, and that's shown like over the years with how consistent we have been of constantly getting into Europe, constantly getting the semi-finals, finals, winning that trophy early on in his stint. And now he's got a good backroom staff there as well, and he's been very, very lucky, I think, over the course of so many years. We've always had good players. Once good players have left, he's brought good players in, and I think probably one of my favourite teams when we were sort of, I think it was the year, I think Rogic scored at Kilmarnock. I think it was that year that we were really pushing Celtic. Rogic scored the winner and we slipped up with Motherwell, and I felt that year we should have probably kicked on, because I remember the midfield we had with Ryan Jack, Graham Shinney and Kenny McLean, and then with a front three of myself, Rooney and Johnny Hayes, and we were brilliant that season, but we probably sort of underachieved. But at the same time, we've obviously come up against these good Celtic teams that you obviously can't complain about.
Like, I was thinking there when you were saying that now, when like Rangers weren't in the Premier League and like you were pushing Celtic, have you got some regrets where you think we should have won the league that year? Is there any regrets where you sit and go, we let Celtic go for the hook a wee bit that season?
I think sort of in-house you have obviously different targets and stuff, and I think us as a group of players, we knew we were capable of pushing Celtic. Like, being realistic, you think like obviously it gets to a stage where I think it happens most year. You just try and stay as close to them as long as possible, and if you stay close to them most of the season, anything can happen. But you just sort of financially, the players, the big squads that they have, they always sort of kick on, and it is hard to compete against obviously Celtic and Rangers as it is now. And actually, I think that season definitely we should have ran them a lot closer than what we did with sort of the squad of players we had, and it was just getting that consistency.
Aye. Great players. Scott Wright being one of them. What's the crack with him? Has he been chucked out your WhatsApp group yet?
He's still there. He's
hanging on.
What was the last thing he sent?
He's got another one, but where he's all talk about him.
This is a new group.
We'll be talking about him when he leaves, that's for sure. Especially when he. Now look, he was my boot. He was my boot boy when he first sort of came in around the development and like sort of coming into the squad. But he what he call it. He's a good lad, and it's good to see how sort of well he's progressed as a player. And Rangers are getting an exciting talent there, so it's one that for him personally, you're hoping he just kicks on and he sort of stays injury free. Uses this season for his experience, because this is the first season he's got where he's played every week, if you know what I mean.
Aye.
There is improvement there, of course there is. He needs to add goals to this game. He needs to add assists to this game, and for him personally, hopefully he can do that when he goes to Rangers, but obviously not against Aberdeen.
Aye, Niall, just you and the boys go easy on him in training and stuff, mate.
Just watch what you're doing.
All right, mate.
Knee-high tackles from now on.
I don't tackle. It's just your big Constantines and Taylors and stuff. Maybe might smash him around.
We'll just get them tilt. The Grado's fucking.
Yeah. Hopefully the ink's dry, so you'll be all right.
So, mate, is it true you played under Uwe Rosler as well?
Yeah, I played under that madman at Brentford, yeah.
I was going to say, what was he like? He's a bit of a character, isn't he?
I liked him, I really liked him, but he was the type of character. He was like, train how you play. So he was. But it was a phone call. I was obviously disappointed at the time because I came back at international games and Celtic were heading out to, I think it was America or Australia or something on a training camp. And Lenny said to me, "Look, you're not coming. Well, I want you to sort of stay here and maybe take a rest. You've been away with internationals." But I knew deep down, like, he didn't want me to go. He maybe wanted to push me out on loan. So that was it. He pushed me out on loan, but it's probably the best thing I did. I ended up playing like 38 odd games that season, and it really stood me in good stead, sort of moving forward. But really, Rossler, he was a good man. He was very intense on the sidelines, and as I said earlier, he was like, train how you play, and you had to wear shin pads every day in training. Like, he made us wear shin pads every day in training, as well as obviously games and stuff. But no, it was good. And I think sort of going forward, when I've started my coaching badges and obviously becoming a manager, I think I've played under different and unique managers, and obviously good managers as well. I could sort of take a wee bit from each manager, definitely.
Did you play under Archie Knox?
I played under him.
Oh, right. You need to ask a question, Grado. You need to ask a question.
I was my first season, but I was listening to that Mark Ramos podcast, and he was telling us when he was around the changing room.
Well, what were you? Were you spunk or shite bag?
I don't know if I was. No, I was probably that first season. Like, it's the only ever season I played as a striker. I remember my agent phoned me up one day and he said, Craig Brown, he's flying over to Ireland here. He's going to look at a player. Would you like to come along? I was out of contract at this time, and I said, yeah, no problem. So he picked Craig Brown up at the airport, out to my agent Jerry Carlisle's house. He's a mad Celtic fan, isn't he? So back to his house, drove down to Dublin to watch this striker, and I was grand. The game was going fine, and I was just sort of sitting there, and Craig Brown sort of leant into Jerry. Says, like, what's the situation with Niall? He's like, he's out of contract and stuff, and he's like, I'd be quite keen. And I was grand. Craig Brown was sitting in the back of the car, heading up the road. I was in the front seat. He was sitting in the back eating his wee cheese and onion Tato crisp, I remember it, and he was drinking his wee Pepsi, and he even allowed me to sit in the front of the car, and he leant into me and says, like, how do you feel about coming to Aberdeen? I said, like, I would love to. Like, it's obviously a massive club, and I've played in Scotland. I sort of know the Scottish game. And he said, yeah, but how do you feel about coming to Aberdeen, like, playing as a striker? And I said, why not? Like, he said, look, I've seen your sort of career. I know you're fast, you're tricky, you play on the wing, but you've got attributes where I think you could be a striker. So Craig Brown brought me in as a striker in that first season, and team-wise, it probably wasn't great, but for me personally, it was just an unbelievable season because I scored 21 goals that season. I was up for Player of the Year, and it was just a great season for me personally. So for him to see me as a striker was just credit to him to bring me in and sort of get my career back on track again. But Archie Knox, he was brilliant. Like, when I moved to Aberdeen, I ended up living in an apartment block where I was on the third floor, Craig Brown was on the second floor, and Archie Knox was on the top floor. So I definitely had to be on my best behaviour, that's for sure.
Did you see Craig Brown sitting eating his crisps and his can of Pepsi, go like that? There's that Niall again, Archie, get him!
I was obviously single, and I don't know whether there was more girls coming to my house or Craig Brown's house.
So now we know who the top shagger was, basically. Is what you're saying,
That's your top shagger, Craig Brown.
That's amazing, man. Is it 9 years you've been at Aberdeen?
Yeah, I signed in the 2012-2013 season, January. So I think it was, No, it started the season 2012-2013 season.
Any whispers about a testimonial?
Aye.
There was talk sort of in the last contract, but it was sort of like agreement more than anything. But obviously with COVID and stuff, it's just obviously all in the back burner at the moment. So.
You're looking at a testimonial when there's no fans there, man. What's the point?
No,
do you know what I mean?
I'd love a testimonial, but we'll wait and see. We just need to see what happens after the season and sort of moving forward.
But even how does it work? Testimonials? Is it just all the profits for the gate goes to the player? Is that the deal?
But I think the tradition now is that they give it to charity.
Right. Is it?
Depends if you're like a Wayne Rooney or something, or maybe Niall McGinn who's played in Scotland. Maybe a wee bit going to charity, but a lot of it will be going to maybe a new house.
Quite right, mate.
Up the stair for Craig Brown again.
He can have the wee granny pad outside, so he can.
That's funny, man.
So now looking back, were you Were you a Celtic fan growing up, obviously?
To be honest, I was like, I think it's growing up as any young sort of Irish lad. I think it's always Celtic or Rangers. You'll always have your English team. So I was sort of following Man United. My dad and my brother were always Liverpool fans. So I just wanted to be different. And I was sort of Man United growing up. But regarding Celtic, like obviously, I was an Irish Catholic boy going to an all Irish Catholic school playing Gaelic football. I was very sporty and stuff. And I just like I did follow Celtic. I remember I went to games when I was younger, but it was always very intimidating. Obviously, going to games back then, like I would travel on the boats and stuff, and you used to have to hide your Celtic top. You couldn't show colours because obviously Rangers fans on the boat as well, especially with firm games and stuff. And I remember my first Old Firm game when Alan Thompson scored the winner at Celtic Park, and he scored an exact same goal that I scored my first goal into, which was just an unbelievable feeling, believable moment for me personally. And obviously, like it's crazy. Like now, when you look back on it, when you're growing up as a young boy, like it's any young boy's dream, obviously, to become a professional footballer. But you actually do become a professional footballer, and you play for obviously one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's just sensational, to be honest.
So who was the manager of Celtic then when you were there? Was it?
So I sort of signed as sort of a development player under Gordon Strachan, and then I was under Tony Mowbray when he first came in, because I remember I was there for about 4 or 5 months, and I just remember when Tony Mowbray came in, I just thought to myself, look, just have a really good pre-season here, and who knows what can happen. And I remember sitting at home on a Friday night. It was the Wembley Cup at the time. Celtic had played on the Friday night, and then we're playing Tottenham on the Saturday. I got the phone call on Friday night to say, look, you need to jump on a plane here. You're coming down to play the feature in the Tottenham game, and I was absolutely buzzing. So to make my debut at Wembley against Tottenham for Celtic was brilliant. And then I think a few weeks later we played at the Etihad against Manchester City. And then as time went on, when I actually made my competitive debut against Dundee United, it was just a wee bit surreal, like, because I was going playing in front of like 80 people at Dungannon Swiss, to go into Derry City playing in front of maybe 2,000, 3,000 people at the most, to making my competitive debut in front of 60,000 people at Celtic Park. And I was all in a space of about 18 months where it was just like a whirlwind. It's just my world just sort of went from strength to strength, making my international debut. Everything just happened so quickly, which was crazy, you know. So I wouldn't change it for the world, that's for sure.
You like staying in Aberdeen?
Yeah, it's a good city. I love Glasgow, to be honest. I love Glasgow. It just felt like, I think there's that sort of, I don't know, I just find people in Glasgow are quite similar to people back home. They're very friendly, easy to get on with, a bit of crack, bit of banter. And I was always fine. Like, I always get on with everyone, do you know what I mean? Obviously, you get a wee bit of grief off small fans, because I was playing for Northern Ireland, and most Northern Ireland fans are obviously Rangers fans, you know what I mean? So I was fine in that sense. But Aberdeen, good city, nice people, good place to live, just nothing to do. But Glasgow is close to home, and there's plenty to do.
Aye.
It's why the bands and there's none to do anywhere now, but I know.
I know.
Apart from sitting day podcasts, know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think this season then now? What do you think with Aberdeen? Do you think, I mean, there's no much of a gap there now between Aberdeen and Celtic. What do you think? Do you think you could catch them for second place?
It's just...
I'm being serious.
No, you're not.
You're wanting us to catch Celtic because you.
Of course I do, mate. Of course I do.
You're wanting us to catch Celtic.
Grado's laughing because he said, "Do you think you can catch Celtic for second place?" As if Rangers have already won the league. You know what I mean? That's what he's laughing at.
Listen,
pair of scumbags. Pair of scumbags now.
Huge grin on his face when he says that. That's for sure.
Grado's laughing because he thinks I'm taking a pop at Toll again. Do you know what I mean?
I am that, man. That's why you told sitting up there crabbit, man.
I am no crabbit. You shut up. Hey, listen,
it's a serious question. It's a serious question. You've still to play Celtic twice, haven't you?
I think I had a team meeting there the other day, and I think these next block of games are very important because Livingston are absolutely flying. So we play Livingston. We play Livingston Saturday. We play Livingston Tuesday, and then we play Hibs away, and then we've got Celtic twice. So these next block of 5 games they'll probably make or break our season. If I'm being honest, I think regarding obviously. We always try and stay in touch with the old firm for as long as possible. Obviously, Rangers are running away with it at the moment. They've been brilliant this season, to be honest. And looking sort of from the outside in, like Celtic sort of haven't been like obviously firing all cylinders, and even sort of watching myself personally, like watching Celtic and watching Rangers, I think there is that difference. I just think Rangers, they've just been so consistent this year, and even when they haven't played great, they're still getting over the line. And I think that was a big difference probably to what they were last year and the year before. When games that didn't play well, they maybe lost them games or went behind. And I think this year, even when they haven't played great, they've still always managed to go over the line. But regarding us, we just gotta each game as it comes, and we know obviously Celtic, they've got a massive squad, and they will want to finish the season between now and the end of the season strongly, and it will be difficult for us to sort of keep in touch. But we'll have to be confident, and if we just concentrate, and if we keep giving up these sort of losing 2 points in all these like games where we're drawn and stuff.
Ross County, man, what happened there?
I didn't play. It was funny. We were just walking out, and the gaffer's behind me. Like it was like 30 seconds into the game. Like we weren't even sat down. The gaffer wasn't even in touchline, and they had scored, and it was like, oh fuck's sake! Like,
have you been fucking putting up bed sheets outside Pittodrie? Is it you?
I must be letting the gaffer's tires down or something. I must be doing something else.
So Niall, you've been in Scottish football for most of your career, but you had a wee stint in South Korea. That must have been bananas. What was that like?
Yeah, I remember when it came out, and I was like, Jesus, like nobody could believe it, but it was interesting how it all came about. Ki Sung-young that I played with at Celtic, his dad was the president of the football club. So this South Korean agent got in touch with me. I put him in touch with my agent. They got speaking, and obviously Ki Sung-young said a lot of good things about me, which was good. And the thing that attracted me most about it was a new experience. And all my family's obviously back in Ireland. I didn't have a girlfriend or anything, and I was sort of on my own. I just thought, why not? New experience, go and experience it. Have no regrets. But for the Ki Sung-young's dad and the agent, both of them flew from South Korea to Belfast. Spent a couple of days in Belfast. Got to meet me in person. Got to meet me as a person, see who I am, and I was grand. And that was a big thing for me, like for me to go there, for them to make the effort to come across and obviously show that interest that they want to sign me. I just thought, why not go for it? But regarding the experience, it was a good experience, but it was difficult for me. I was like 3 hours south of Seoul, which is the capital city. The team had signed for, like we were struggling. Like I signed halfway through the season. I just didn't really get going. I think international football and club football were just having an effect on both. I was doing a lot of traveling back and forth, and jet lag was kicking in, and I was missing games through that, and it was just difficult. It was difficult all around. But I had my own English interpreter, so I was like Nakamura when he was at Celtic. So he just done everything for me. He was my best mate. So any problems or any issues, he just done everything. But it's definitely not a regret. I'm happy I went and done it and experienced it. And if I had went to like a better team, it would have been better. But talk of dogs, they eat dog soup in South Korea.
Really? Oh, no way.
We used to go out. They're big on eating together, and like you actually sit on the floor. Like when you go to these proper Korean restaurants, you sit on the floor. Like my back was in bits, and I was up against the wall, and like went in and I would go and eat like chicken soup, and you'd see like 5 or 6 of lads go into this other wee room, and they're eating like dog soup, and I'm thinking, nah,
that sounds barking.
That's not right, but man, that's not right. That's not. Grado, even I mean, you like your grub, man, but Niall saying when he was in Korea, they had dog soup.
You had what's dog soup?
Aye,
dog soup. Aye.
Oh no, I can't go that.
I didn't eat it personally. I had chicken.
You better move, man. See, I can. There's nothing. See how when you see Ricky Gervais, right? I love him on Twitter, but see when he starts sharing all this, the dog,
animal cruelty videos.
I can't go, mate. It makes me want to greet. And does it tell you? What does it say? Like golden retriever or just dog? Like, do you know what I mean?
I just went to the chicken section, thank God. But even like the main meals, like they're big into their big pots in the middle where they just boil everything. So you'd like the people walking out with like octopus, and octopus is just jumping about the place, and then they throw it into the boiling water, and then obviously it dies after a while, and then they just start eating it. But
Niall, see, cut you off. Octopus is right. Do you like documentaries?
I would do, yeah. I like true crime documentaries and true.
So they are. If you right, we'll get to that. But listen, Octopus. Type in, go and watch Netflix tonight. Right, it's called My Teacher Octopus. Right, and it's about a guy that stays in South Africa. And in the water where he lives, there's an octopus, right? And he sees it one day. And then he goes back the next day and he sees it. he ends up having a fucking full pelt relationship with this octopus. They high five one in there. They dance. He's got all the footage. It's brilliant. They don't fall in love. They're just good pals, right? And well, the octopus dies right in the end, and it's very, very sad. Right, but you need to see this, man, because octopuses, they're like dugs. They see how you'd think like fishes are just fucking, they've got nothing, but they know love and all that.
Talk about dog soup and talking about this and that food and that octopus. Do you know own restaurants, Niall?
Yeah. So when I was at Celtic, my agent, he's always fingered a lot of pies, quite switched on, smart, intelligent man, sort of entrepreneur type character. Obviously been an agent for years, good businessman. He sort of just came to the idea of when I was at Celtic, he's thinking, how do you feel about opening a restaurant, me and you? And I was thinking, great idea. But he thought, like, in the middle of West Belfast. So West Belfast is obviously all Celtic Daft. Mm-hmm. And it was right beside the hospital, good location, called the Falcha. So it was a nice, like, sort of good Irish traditional food, all your sort of breakfast, your lunches and your dinners and stuff. And it was a great idea. So we ended up opening Falcha, and then with having opened Falcha, I had this big opening night, and I thought, yeah, we'll bring like a few of the Celtic players over. So we ended up bringing like 7 or 8 Celtic players over. So it was unheard of.
Bobby Petter there?
No, he was before.
I'm surprised at that.
He was chefing in the kitchen. I think he done DJ that night too, so he did. No, so what do you call it? For us at that time, like playing for Celtic was obviously a massive thing, but for me and my agent to bring 7 or 8 like current Celtic players to West Belfast was a massive thing. It was massive in the news back home and stuff, and me obviously opening the restaurant was huge. So we had like McGeady, we had Mark Crosas, Big Jos Hoival, Paddy McCord, Darren O'Dea, and now it was just a great few days. Delighted the boys came over and what do you call it, and helped me sort of launch it and different things. And then we later opened a restaurant in West Belfast in a small shopping centre, and it's still open till now. We sold on the first one, and then just before the whole pandemic, me and Jerry, I got on board, and he opened a pizza place right in the city centre in Belfast, which is a great location. But obviously, with all this COVID stuff, it's just been an absolute nightmare. But no, it was just a wee interest outside of football that I got involved in, and he obviously got me involved in well, which is.
I love that. I think that's brilliant.
I was going to say I'd like to try the restaurants and that, but we'd need to go down with different topes and that one, Gado. We'd need to watch in that area in Belfast.
I don't know, would we get in that?
I'd be all right.
You'd be all right, mate.
I would like, obviously Jerry was looking after Kyle Lafferty for a bit. He had Kyle Lafferty up around West Belfast and stuff, and it's obviously scary to think, obviously through the troubled times and stuff, but some of the stories, like even Kyle Lafferty, like in West Belfast, you'd never have heard of it if you know.
Aye.
And then like I had Josh McGuinness. He's obviously from a Protestant background, but I had him down the Gallagate and all before, and like, do you know what I mean? And he was obviously treated very nice and stuff, and fans had a bit of crack. And
that's the way it should be, man.
That's the way it should be, definitely, man.
That's like it was always. I was always like sort of good crack. I was very friendly with a young goalkeeper at Rangers. His name was Wayne Drummond. He was an Irish lad, and I used to drive from Celtic training ground to Murray Park to pick him up after training. And
really,
I remember one day, what do you call him? He was one of the assistant managers at the time. He's a bally fella, but he's a real die-hard Rangers man.
Oh, was it Celtic as well? Kenny McDowell?
No, he's always been a Rangers, but I think he's a wee bit bitter. But he seen me pulling up one day, and he didn't like it. Like
really.
No, I think he was going mad at the time, but it was one of those things I just thought it was cool. Like there's me current driving the Rangers training.
Was it John Brown? Was it?
No, if he says,
is it Jimmy Bell?
No.
He's not bald.
He's not baldy.
I just noticed that he said better.
Man, but
was it when McLeish was there? Was it Watson?
That was in 2011, mate. That was years later. I was thinking that and all. That's pure got to do my nothing. John,
should I ask Big Stoltman who it was?
No, I'm going to end up messaging you at 4 in the morning going, I've got it!
It was Durant.
Oh, what's that?
Durant!
Is he?
Yeah.
What's that?
I remember him. Right. Definitely. He didn't take it too well, but I was quite friendly, like Andy Little and Kyle Lafferty and obviously Steve Davis players that got the obviously through the international setup. You know what I mean? But I wasn't in the training ground. I was picking them up outside the training ground.
Right. Mate, I was going to say that. Are you quite pally with Steve Davis?
Like obviously we've built up a good sort of like relationship over the years, but like he's always been in the Northern Ireland setup since I've been there. And he's a brilliant footballer, and he's just so down to earth, and he just goes about his business, and he's someone you look up to. And for him to obviously still be like he's an example of like obviously age like isn't an issue, if you know what I mean. Like how easy he gets through games, how well he uses experience, and that comes with experience of playing in the Premier League, winning trophies, playing for Rangers, and what's he get well over 100 caps for Northern Ireland as well. It's just incredible. He's like, you ask anyone who's played with him, they'll obviously say he's a great lad, he's this and that, but as a footballer, he's definitely up there, one of the best I've played with.
He's different class, man. Even last night, sitting watching the game, just even things off the boy does, his positional sense, you just can't teach that. He's just always in the right place at the right time in the middle of the park, breaking play up. He's different class. What do you think, Toll?
He's all right,
good, mate. Right. Niall, it's been great talking to you, man. It's been brilliant. But at the end of every interview we do every week, we've got a 90-second football quiz. You up for it, mate?
I'll have to try it either.
Top of the leaderboard, we've got John Sutton and Chick Young on 15. Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley are tucked in behind with 14. While the good doctor Kenny Duker and Kevin Harper are just behind with 13. We've got other selected scores like Mark Reynolds on 10, Lauren Shankland on 7, Ross McCrory on 6. And at the bottom of the tier, it's a tie between Peter Lovenkrands, Derek Johnston, Craig Levine, and Mixu Patalayan.
What did Anybody get last week?
5.
Aye, 5, aye.
No, he got 4.
Anybody you want to beat on that list there now?
Ross McCrory.
Oh, there we go, Ross McCrory. Right, he's on 6, mate, so you need to beat him, obviously, you know what I mean? But, Grado, you going to ask the questions, mate?
Aye. We ready, John?
Yep.
Is it just me answering them, or do you know the questions, or you answering them as well?
No, it's just you answering them.
No, it's just you.
But listen, you can't pass.
You can't
pass.
Give an answer.
Give an answer, no matter, even if
it's all right.
Even if it's nonsense.
Are these the same questions the same guys had, no, or just different ones?
Different ones.
Different ones every week, mate.
Okay.
Are you ready? John, start the clock. What team are currently top of the Scottish Championship?
Hearts.
Darren Young is the manager of which side?
Oh, don't know. Pass.
Can't pass, mate.
Freaking.
And what league do Kelty Hearts play in?
League 3, even though there isn't.
How many caps have you had for Northern Ireland?
62.
The Spaghetti Had is the nickname of which team's stadium?
Man City.
How much is the reported fee for Jeremy Frimpong's transfer to Leverkusen?
It's around 11 million, but it's like 11.12 or whatever.
Who do Rangers play in the next round of the Europa League?
Jesus. Benfica, even though it's not, I don't know.
In what year did you sign for Celtic?
2009.
What professional team play in Dumfries?
Dunfermline.
Who was the Celtic captain before Scott Brown?
Darnell D.
Who was just been appointed the manager of Chelsea?
What is his name? T. I just call him T, but I don't know.
You scored your first Dons goal in a friendly against who?
I don't know. My first competitive goal was against Motherwell, but
who scored 2 penalties
against?
He started. So he can finish. He started.
Right, okay.
He started.
Aye. Who scored 2 penalties against Dundee United in St Mirren's 5-1 win on Wednesday night?
Graf.
John, over to you.
There we go. Over to you, John.
How do you think you done it?
Go through your wrong answers, Niall.
I think it's a tight one between.
And I don't think he heard one of the questions properly. So, right, the Spaghetti Had is the nickname.
I said it too fast, didn't I?
The Spaghetti Had is the nickname of which team's stadium?
And you said Man City. Would you still say Man City?
Daddy Had, isn't it?
Aye, but it's the Spaghetti Had. Whose stadium is referred to as the Spaghetti Had?
I don't know.
Right, we'll go through the wrong answers now. Darren Young is the manager of East Fife. Kelty Hearts play in the Lowland League, which should maybe be known as League 3. 62 caps for Northern Ireland, you got that. Though I had written down 61 here. Spaghetti Had is Livingston. Jeremy Frimpong is reported it's 11.5 million that he's went for.
I would give him that because we'll never ever know.
Aye.
Do you
Aye.
right? The boys are saying we'll give you that, so we'll add that.
I started like 11.1 or something, and then I started with add-ons and stuff.
Aye.
Listen, in Mastermind, you didn't get like points for just getting close to the answer. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, see, to be fair, John, in Mastermind, the people that make the quiz know the answers.
You probably don't know the answer.
Exactly. The reported fee. Reported fee.
Okay, then I'll give you that.
You could listen to Clyde and they tell you one thing, and listen to Go and they'll tell you the other.
Who would listen to Go?
Rangers are playing Royal Antwerp in the next round of the Europa League. Queen of the South playing Dumfries, not Dunfermline. Celtic captain before Scott Brown was Stephen McManus. I'll give you TT because that's obviously how you know him. It's Thomas Tuchel, who's just been appointed Chelsea manager, and you scored against St. Pauli in your debut. Is that right? In a friendly St. Pauli German team.
I'm never.
Was that not for Celtic?
It was actually, yeah, St. Pauli, yeah.
Well, give you that one because see, John, he's going on about Mastermind here, but he's fucking questions up now. I'm sorry.
He's just
No, but the thing is, Niall, John's taking on a new job recently and he can't juggle the two of them.
He's burning the candles at both ends.
It should be your first competitive goal. It shouldn't be like your first friendly game.
Yeah, I'm giving that.
Exactly.
Right, in that case, you're beating your pal Ross McCrory. Ross McCrory is on six.
I've beaten Ross McCrory, not my pal. I'm only joking.
Well done, Niall. You scored 7 with all those gives.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Well done, mate.
Brilliant, man. And once again, mate, if we ever get you on one of our live shows we do in the future, we'll have a better producer with us at the time. Really sorry about John today, right? Really sorry.
And
thanks for coming on.
If your mind's puzzling you about the spaghetti head, it's because they get called it's a Tony Macaroni
Because
arena.
it's a Tony Macaroni arena.
I know it's Tony Macaroni, yeah.
Aye, mate, you know, mate.
But
Aye, I know.
It's like Grado still trying to explain it, and Niall's just come at me, mate. I know it's a Tony
Pizza arena or something.
No, the spaghetti head. Oh, the spaghetti head.
Niall, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks very
All
much.
the
best.
Tell Derek McInnes get you back in that starting lineup, mate.
I will do. Cheers, all the
All the
best.
best. See you later,
Tell
bye.
Scott, I'll see him soon.
Bye bye.
Audio Frontier.